Today I wanted to talk about diagnosing and repairing a half-gray JPEG file. It's probably one of the more common issues. And there can be several causes, and depending on the cause we may be able to repair it or not. So we'll be working with this file. So we see a large grayish, the color depends on where exactly the image is cut. So it can be gray, it can be black, it can be bluish, whatever kind of color it was decoding at the point where the image breaks, essentially. Okay, so it's a reasonably common issue, and it's pretty easy to diagnose, and once we know what's wrong with it, it's often pretty easy to fix. This is the image as I received it from a customer. This is the image. Looks exactly the same, though the cause is entirely different than this one. The first thing that can happen is that a image file is cut off. It's literally the file size is reduced. So if we look at this one, we see it's 5.8 megabytes. If we look at this one, we see it's only 3.6 megabytes. So what clearly happened here is that the file size was reduced, so it's simply missing part of the data. That means since we're missing this data, the data is gone, we cannot repair it. Of course, normally you do not have the exact same image with the correct size, so then what you do is compare it to images from the same camera with the same settings, and then file sizes should be approximately the same. Of course, never exactly the same, but approximately, especially if you suppose you shoot a couple of images with about the same subject, then you expect those to all have about the same file size. So file size is the first giveaway. 5.8 against 3.6. So this file cannot be repaired. It's as simple as that. Another common cause is that the file size is okay. We can see this here, 5.8, 5.8. So these are equally sized. But another common issue is that the file does not contain the full image data. And what you sometimes see, for example, I'm going to open this file in a hex editor, is that part of the file simply consists of zeros. So, and this again means that the image data is gone. It cannot be repaired, unfortunately. And so then the final case is that the image data is there. If we would open it in the hex editor, we would see kind of random data, high entropy data throughout the file. The nice FFD9 JPEG end of image signature. So this file is largely intact, it seems, and yet it's corrupt. Okay, now when we use JPEG repair, we can also look at these three different files. Oh. Yeah. So here are the three different files. This is the file that is cut. We can see the file size 3.8 against, this is in bytes. So we see the file size is considerably smaller, but we'll open it anyway. What we see with this file is that the entropy looks okay. So this we cannot use to diagnose this issue. The byte histogram looks normal for a JPEG file. So the only thing we can, the only way we can diagnose this is by looking at file sizes and comparing it to similar files shot with the same camera. But this file cannot be repaired. This data simply is not there. This is the file that JPEG Repair produced. No, this is the file that JPEG Repair produced. I'll delete it. Now we go to the next file, where the, half of the file is filled with zeros. And this is something you can clearly diagnose using JPEG Repair. We can already see it. And this is the entropy is too low for a JPEG file, and JPEG Repair will with a good entropy, it will display this value in green, and with a non JPEG like entropy, it will display this in red. But this is the clear giveaway that this file cannot be repaired, that we're simply missing data. And now you cannot really see it on screen probably, but in the byte histogram we see on the left the bar for the zero value is maxed out. There are so many zeros that it maxes this one out and it pushes all the other values down. So this is another, but this way we can tell this file consists largely of zeros. So since this data is not there, we cannot repair it. I'll delete the one produced by JPEG Repair again. And then we get to the file that we actually can repair, which is this one. Well, if we open this file using JPEG Repair, we can immediately see the entropy looks JPEG-like and it's displayed in green. The byte histogram looks very JPEG-like, but what's the most obvious is that JPEG Repair shows us the bottom part of the file. It's not aligned properly and the color is off. The color shifts at a certain point inside the file. You can see corruption here, and this is the root cause of the part of the image to become gray too. It basically means it's not decoded by the image viewer. Something chokes the image viewer, something makes it decide not to decode the rest of the image data. So this is something that can be fixed. There's also a free tool you could try, and I'll show that too. Okay, these are the files produced by JPEG Repair. I'll remove them again. This is the file that we opened right now and that can be repaired. I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna paste it into the folder where I have JPEG Repair Shop. This is a free utility. If you Google JPEG Repair Shop, you will find it. I'll start it, and we'll see what it gives us. Unfortunately, JPEG Repair Shop basically suffers from the same issue that the Windows photo viewer does. It stops decoding the rest of the file, and this prevents us from from repairing the file. We cannot do anything useful here. I did too many clicks. Now it crashes even. It's not my intention to make it crash, so normally you would using this tool remove corrupt MCUs. It's also kind of slow. And then insert empty MCUs to make up for the ones you deleted. So basically you remove corruption and then insert empty MCUs and then fix colors to get rid of that bluish greenish haze we saw in the example in JPEG Repair. Okay, so but this will not be working. So we'll go back to JPEG Repair. I'm going to start from the start. We'll open the file. We'll tell it to repair. We immediately see the healthy entropy and a healthy byte histogram, and the program actually showing us the bottom part of the image. So we saw corruption here. Starts about here. I'm going to double click there, and now just as with JPEG Repair Shop, we try to remove the corruption. This is unlike a JPEG Repair Shop, it's a byte editor, this, and a JPEG Repair Shop is an MCU editor. An MCU editor is more precise. Still see some corruption. You will never get rid of it 100%, but we don't have to. Now it looks about. Well, here's some corruption in front of where we were. The progress bar you saw here is actually JPEG Repair mapping raw data to the actual data in the image. So it does have some idea of when we click somewhere, which raw data is responsible for this part of the image, and it also has some idea about MCUs. And to travel a bit to that side, to the left, we can travel a couple of MCUs to the left. Okay, so now we clearly see the corrupt data. I'm going to remove some more. Now it looks about right. Now I'm going to reload the image. Well, I shouldn't have done that, but okay, I'll show you what I should have done is insert data again to make up for the bytes we removed. But we'll do that now. Well, this doesn't have to be precise. Now I should have reloaded. Now, since we removed data, it needs to remap everything again. And this time, no. And this is the point we're working from. Now, this is the MCU based editor of JPEG repair, and what we can do is we can try to that was too low. Now I'm about right. So we have the brightness about right. This looks good. So now we have realigned the image data, we have fixed the colors. Now, because we removed data and we inserted data again, there is a slight there's a horizontal scar here, let's call it a scar. And basically the only way you can get rid of that is by using a photo editor. So I'll use paint.net. I copied it to the clipboard. Now I paste it from the clipboard. And the tool I'll be using is not a standard part of paint.net, but you can download it. It's a plugin and it's a content aware fill. Now you wait until it's done. There it goes. Okay. We deselect. And then you have your repaired image. Good as, almost as good as new. I'll make another one with another image file. So, and then I'll try to get all the steps right in one go.